Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be making a Supersaw-like thing in Reaktor. It's going to be 7 voices. There's going to be detune, spread, and a mix, perhaps. And yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that. This isn't going to be like an authentic Supersaw because the spread is going to be quite linear and the source oscillator isn't quite up to par. But we're just going to be having fun with it. So let's start off with a saw, because we need a saw. I'm going to need a MIDI in gate, very important, and then a MIDI in pitch. All right, so we got gate and pitch going on. I'm going to map the pitch to pitch, and the gate to the amplitude, and the gate I'm going to set the max to 100. So it's basically just acting as a very simple envelope. And I don't need to set anything else up. It just kind of sounds like this, which is pretty cool. Right? Very neat. Okay, so from here, I'm going to be kind of setting a couple things up. I'm going to be using macros and stuff like that because I'm going to be repeating things over and over again. This is going to be my center oscillator. A center oscillator in unison or supersaw or whatever you want to call it is one that doesn't change pitch relative to the note you're playing and doesn't pan itself. But the other ones are going to. And we're going to set that up with a panel. And we're going to create a knob. It's going to be called Detune. Detune. And I'm going to duplicate, and this one is going to be called spread. All right, so both of these are going to be doing interesting things to the saw wave and the spread therein. So there's that. Okay, so let's get a macro in here. And I'm going to be using a macro because I got to repeat this stuff over and over again. And this is a kind of a good starting point. I'm actually going to copy this, bring this in here, and then go paste. Okay. And this will be its own kind of self-contained unit that I can then copy over and then mix in and do some fun stuff with. Important thing to do with this is there are essentially let's just say there's one value that I want to have different for each of these macros. And this is the amount of detune that's possible from within the detune knob. And I can, make that so it's not visible. I can do this by just making a constant, because I want to see it on the outside of the module itself. So I'll go into math and then constant. Right, and this just spits out a constant value. I'm gonna hold shift and bring this in, and then it'll create a new input. I'll call this the const, so I know. And this right here, the spread. No, I'm gonna do the detune. The detune will be in here, and I'll call this det. Okay. There's detune and then the constant. All right, this is going to make sense in a little while. Okay, so the detune in is the amount controlled between 1 and 0 of this knob here. Right, so you have our detune and our spread. And what we can do easily, we can take our constant, which is a value that we're going to set, and we can multiply it by it itself. And this is how you get this nice fancy stuff. You use math. So the constant is, say, 1, and this detune amount is a value between 0 and 1. And what this is doing is essentially, using math to make it kind of, so right now it's linear. So 1 times 0.0, it's quite linear. But if we actually change this constant value to a different value, then we will achieve a particular unison spread as per a different amount from the same knob. And this will become clear as you go along. It kind of hurts my brain to explain it, but I know, and just, yeah. So there's that. I want to actually take the note pitch, right? Take the note pitch and then add the detune amount, right? So the detune amount will be an amount that we add to the note pitch or take away, and we will be able to detune it. It'll become clear, trust me. So we're going to go into math and then go add. Okay, so we got the note pitch down here, and then that's going to go into the pitch here. And then we have the detune amount going into the note pitch, right? It's just adding a number to the note pitch that's already there. And right now, it's 0. It can be 0.016, so whatever the note pitch is, 0.016. And I can actually demonstrate this. That might actually be a better idea. I'm going to set, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go over to a signal path in the main area, and I'm just going to go, amp, stereo amp mixer. And I'm going to give this a range of 2, just for now. And the input is going to be into this second oscillator here. And we can actually hear the detune when we press a note and stuff, although we should. And I think the level, yeah, we'll just go create that one. And, oh, yeah, okay, so the output wasn't matched up, right? So test early, test often. There you go. I actually don't need this, and if I do, I'll eat my hat. There you go. So now with the detune work, right? And it's just adding a value to the note pitch. And with this number right here, the constant number, right, that's being fed into this, we can change the range of that. And the range can be 0.2, or it can be like 10, right? And it's very useful because we can have multiples of this and then have different detune amounts for different oscillators from the same knob. Okay, so this first one is going to be 0.2, right? And there is that. And we can, we're going to have to set up some sort of housekeeping right here. So let's just go, yeah, seven voices. Go big or go home, right? We're going to just kind of make I want these to be in order. Remember, this one right here is my center oscillator. Very important. I'm going to make that obvious. All right, and then we have these up here. And I want these to be, I'm going to duplicate that selection there, and then duplicate that selection. These are going to be our kind of 2 above. So right now they have, the detune is kind of the same going into, is the same. Nope, undo doesn't work. I have to go over here. Okay, the detune, it duplicated the detune. We want 1 detune, actually. Thank you very much. So we'll just do that, right? And these constant values I will have at, 0.4, right? And then this one will be 0.6. And then we can hear that, well, we have to get these in here. We'll have them plopped into the input over here, right? You can hear that they are, they're spreading at different rates. Right? So there's that. And let's get the center in there as well, right? And it's super easy to do this. We can add the lower bits down here, and it's essentially just duplicating those, moving those down here, and then I'm gonna make this so it's a bit more contextually accurate. I don't know why I keep on saying contextually accurate. Like, it's not even like an expression that I usually say, but I'm kind of fluey right now, so that might explain it. I'm going to make these negative 0.2, right? I'm just going to make these in the negative, so these will go down negative 0.4, and then negative 0.6. And what this will do is this will just give it more voices, and it will detune them on, I guess, the inverse of that, right? All right, so we're getting somewhere there, and from here, the ability to kind of pan them from center to not center can be done with this spread here, the spread knob, and we can actually get that into the pan amount. So if we look at the pan here, the pan is set up so it's, +1 is right, 0 is center, -1 is left. We can actually, we can actually set this up so that it spreads those things, and that's what we are going to do. All right, and we can do that with a simple multiplier because we want to kind of do it on the inverse as well. And I'm making up words, please help me. So the multi will be like this. So the spread, right? The spread is just a value between 0 and 1. And this constant will be a value that, no, why am I doing that? Right click and then create constant. And this constant will be, 1, which would be all the way to the right. And this makes sense. And I could maybe make this and make it a little bit more organized, but this is just what we kind of have to work with. We can essentially control the top bits here, right? By panning these, because I want to have I want to have these kind of panned left and right to make the sound more thicker, and I can kind of do that like so, and then pan those. Let's give that a test. Right, but we're running into a problem. We're actually going to need to duplicate that, and then this will be a we'll get a new constant in here. I'll just duplicate that, drag that constant, and this will be -1, which will be left. And I want to kind of alternate the left and the right. Like I don't want all the positives to be on the right, all the negatives to be in the left. When I say negative, I mean the negative saws. I hope I'm being descriptive. And remember that the center frequency, I do not want to pan that. That's always going to be center. So yeah, let's just do that, right? So we'll pan that, and then pan that, and then I'll pan that, and then yeah, we'll pan that. So it's just alternating. That's all it is. It's just alternating. Let's give that a listen. Right, and that is, I guess, essentially it. We can create a create a control for the level here, and right now it's that. I don't want that. I want a knob, and this will be the what will this be called? It should be called something. A mix knob for the actual Supersaw stuff, and we'll just bring those in there. Remember not to touch the center frequency, and we're getting into a jumble of wires, but that's the fun of it. And this will be our mix knob here. It automatically kind of scales to it. Right, and I don't want that. I want the value to be max at 0, just so it doesn't, blow up ears. Right, and there you have it. Excuse me. That's a Supersaw, or a Supersaw-like thing. And yeah, it's done in Reaktor. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.